Hello there gorgeous gamers and welcome back to Pure Play TV, and we've got a review for the uplifting but also quite sad I'll Be Brave Tomorrow, a game about a little boy in the hospital with a bout of cancer. Yeah, fun times for all. Well, it is actually quite good. The game, not cancer. That's awful. Let's get on with the review. All of us will, have, or are currently affected by cancer in one way or another. It's a sad fact of life, one I've taken upon myself to make as many foul jokes about as possible, because if you're scared of something, the easiest way to deal with it is with a good laugh. It's the best medicine, they say. It's escapism, much like video games. And I'll Be Brave Tomorrow tells the story of a little lad called Robin, with a Y, who goes into hospital after fainting at school one day. And the game begins with you coming round in the hospital from Robin's point of view. It soon becomes clear that it's not just going to be a quick checkup, and evidence of Robin's sickness soon starts to pile around him in the form of toys, games, and other home comforts as he goes through treatment. It's never directly on the nose with its subject matter. The game isn't aiming to guilt anybody or make anybody feel deliberately sad. If you catch a case of the weepies here, that's on you, and it means you're human. Or at least partly. The game flitters between a 2D platformer where you play as Robin with an eye and two wings and two proper eyes because depth perception is important. Or is it if you're a 2D character? It's probably one of the many questions Robin with a Y asked himself over the months spent in his hospital room. This 2D platformer is Robin's special video game. His dad gave it to him when he first got into the hospital, and it's all he plays throughout his stay. It's basic platforming stuff with new abilities being slowly administered as you make progress through the charming little story of a bird trying to find its papa. The platforming is nothing spectacular, it's serviceable, and it's not frustrating at all. It's not what you would call a precision platformer like Meat Boy or one of those other really hard games I'll never beat, but it's still got a little challenge here and there, and there are a couple of boss fights and escapes that you need to get through. But more than anything, it's a vessel for delivering another side of the story. And as I said, it's never on the nose, but the grown-ups in the room will be able to see the words for what they really mean, and I appreciate that. It's smart writing. It reminded me of how doctors speak around you, the pauses before the answer, and the words that aren't said. When you're not jumping and gliding through the forest as Robin, you're back in the hospital bed, where Robin with a Y can take a break from his video game and play with his toys. These are your mini-games, and they vary in quality, though if you do find yourself really enjoying them, you're free to replay and try to beat your own high scores or best times. These moments away from the video game, though, are where the story gets told, with the kind words of adults, the reassurances, or the love a child could want in such a time. Now, depending on where you are in life, your experience with I'll Be Brave Tomorrow will differ from mine. For me, it hit close to home, and comfortably so. I spent a good chunk of time in the hospital when I was 5. It's my earliest core memory. I can remember little details about that time, but I would struggle to tell you what I did last week. Hospital is not a great place for a kid or an adult, and I remember getting through it with a Nintendo in my hands. Some people will say that screen time and video games are bad for kids, but nobody's saying that to the kids in the hospital as they look for a way to escape for just a little while. And some kids need that without being in the hospital, so the message of the game is, video games are not bad, cancer is a dick. And we should all probably be a little bit more grateful for what we've got, even if it's not very much. The developers behind the game, Inkforge, are donating 50% of the game's Steam revenue to the Great Ormond Street Hospital, which specialises in caring for children. This video won't do much, 'tis the will of the algorithm gods, but for what it's worth, I'll match it with 50% of whatever money this video makes. And now that there's a financial side to the review, it's all null and void, and I don't have to put a score on a game about a kid with cancer made by a developer throwing half their earnings at a kid's charity. Boom. I'll just say that personally, I enjoyed it. Not so much because the gameplay was anything spectacular, but because it told a story worth telling. And that is the end of this video. It's the first time I've ever bitched out on giving a score because of a charity. We have found my weakness, kids with cancer. And there are several spin-off jokes to be had there, but I think I'll save them for the group chat. Why don't you go on and give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want more, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss future stuff. I've been Chris, you've been gorgeous, and I'll see you on the next one. Until then, cheers my dears.